how the world Crystal Palace are ahead of us now, serious questions should be asked. I think everyone needs to ask these serious questions with Ange. However, are we good enough to be in the top 10? I think we can all agree here, and I think every Spurs fan can agree, we should at least be in the top 10, with or without injuries. We can't. Van der Ven and Romero got injured last year. They both got
Yeah.
injured last year. We had to play Royal and Ben Davis at the back. This is not new, right? And everyone goes, injuries, injuries, injuries. But it comes to a point where you go, how much bad luck does Ange really have with injuries when this is a constant thing that keeps following him? And you kind of go, okay, this is just. I get that everyone wants to protect Ange, but he needs to take some responsibility because when you look at certain games this season, let's take Ipswich. We're needing a
Yeah.
goal. What minute does he bring on Madison? And you're like, what are you doing?
I said about the injuries at the start,
Yeah.
and I did say that he the intensity of training must be too high because at Celtic there was always hamstring injuries.
Yeah, so we hear.
It is a theme at every club he's been at, and he refuses to take intensity. Fortunately for him, in Scotland, there's only 2 or 3 hard games a year.
Exactly.
So you can get away with playing these players. Whereas in the Premier League, every game's a difficult game.
I disagree. Look at Antonio Conte pre-season in South Korea when he was running the players into the ground. Do we see any issues with that then? Under Richard
but that was pre-season. So this is the problem. I think what we're conflating here. When it's pre-season, it's absolutely fine. It's when you start getting into Thursday, Sunday games, which we're having. Because even Conte said before the World Cup, he basically come out and said he can't train the players how he'd like to because he's got a World Cup in the middle of the season. We've got midweek games. The squad is thin at the time as well. He even moaned about that. So, but he knew he couldn't train them to the intensity he did because he'd end up missing and having a load of players missing. But Ange seems to I'm not going to just blame this on Ange because his coaching staff is another mess. I think they're the ones letting him down big time because at the end of the day, he's obviously saying something to them and that's what's happening. But the fact that this injury crisis keeps following him around, we can't just sit there and go, if he didn't have injuries, because he's had this before. He's got to learn from past behaviours. And this is the issue that I'm having right now with Ange. He doesn't seem to be learning from past behaviours. Now, he says one thing and does another. And this is why I'm looking at going, do I see a light at the end of the tunnel?